Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Barlow. Still workshopping that introduction. I apologize. Hopefully, I'll have one for you guys soon. But I just wanted to come back and stop in today and talk about a few things that have been on my mind. Obviously, if you guys haven't checked it out, I do personally recommend go peep my Fantastic Four video that I posted yesterday. Just might put a little seed of doubt in your mind about the outcome of that film. The one of the biggest points, I guess, both of the biggest points are towards the end of that. So I apologize if I wasn't entertaining enough to keep people locked in that long. It still might be worth checking out. Just recapping on a few things and then laying out a point at the end that I feel is overlooked by most people talking about that. But we're not here to talk about yesterday's video. We're not here to talk about Marvel comics today. I kind of want to talk about chapter 1155. Now, I'm not going to do a review. There are a lot of channels on YouTube that do the reviews. So, I ain't about to throw my hat in that ring. It's far too crowded. Plus, it's not my niche. I'm not the type of person who likes reviewing, I guess. When I do review, it's usually, a couple chapters later for the purposes of a theory that I'm working on. But, I'm not even sure if today's discussion is going to be on one of my theories. But, I don't script my stuff, so I'm not 100% sure where the theory is going to get involved or how involved the theory is going to be. All I do know for sure right now is that there is at least going to be a passing mention of a theory I have surrounding One Piece. Now, before I get started on the discussion today, I would like to address something I've had issue with, taken issue with, and that would be theory crafting. It's easy, and I understand why some people would mix up theory crafting with fan fiction. They are pretty close, but there is a difference. Notably, that fan fiction, they're just taking a universe that they enjoy, characters they enjoy, a story they enjoy, and they're writing what they believe to be a compelling story. And that's not what I try to do. I obviously am always hoping my theories are gonna pan out to something, whether spot on or just, the good old horseshoe. It's close. But I try to make sure I don't dilute myself to the point that I'm not willing to take a look at the facts. And when we're talking about a series as long running as One Piece, 1155 is going to be officially releasing on Sunday, Monday in Japan, if I'm remembering correctly. That's a lot of chapters, and you know, maybe some other creators don't have the history I have, but I don't always remember everything. I try to make sure I'm touching all the bases. When I'm crafting a theory, it's not just, hey, here's my idea and here's a little bit of facts to support it. I spend time researching, relearning some things I may have forgotten. But when we're talking about a franchise that big, I am going to forget things. So when people point out to me like, hey, Barlow, you forgot about this, or, did you forget about what happened in this arc, or did you forget what Luffy or somebody said to somebody else during the story? When those do happen, I try to make sure I keep myself humble enough that I'm like, okay, no, you know what, you have a good point. I hadn't considered that. This theory's kind of trash now. I'm just forget about that. Throw that one in the bin. But a lot of times I will take that knowledge and try to see if it works into my theory at all. I hope that provides a little bit of clarity for people. Fan fiction authors are amazing. You got that passion, that love for something that you want to tell your own story within that universe. that's awesome for you. More power to you. Keep doing your thing. Just know, as a theory crafter, you you do kind of make our lives a little more difficult because people are going to confuse you for us. Uh, so, you know, not much else to say on that. All I ask is, people do try to keep in mind that the benefits of theory crafting for me is the opportunity to flex and exercise my critical thinking and my critical reasoning skills, because I can't just take something that was said in the chapter and be all, oh, hey, it'd be cool if this happened. Sometimes I do be all like, for example, I was talking to a buddy earlier this morning about Hajrun and Loki, and I'm like, hey, it'd be really cool if, at the end of Elbaf, the new giant warrior pirates and the Straw Hat pirates did a Davy back fight to see who got the rights to Loki joining the crew. And, that'd be really cool, right? Kind of thematic with things that are going on in the arc right now, but it's not a theory. That's just, that's fan fiction. That's me just throwing something into the universe with my friend, just having a good time. No real thought or anything was put into that. But I did want to talk about something I found peculiar in chapter 1155. So, spoiler warning, if you're waiting for Sunday, please do stop the video now. Come back on Sunday. I'd love to hear from you then. But, I wanted to talk about something because it's not something that these reviewer channels, from what I've seen, are talking about. But it's one of those Oda level breadcrumbs that, in my mind at least, with the history Oda has with the series, in my mind, it is 100% going to be relevant. Whether directly or as a build up for somebody else's thing with that. But that would be the fact that Harold is the only person that was confirmed to be invited to the crew by Rocksteady Zebek himself. Now, I was having a conversation in another creator's comments with somebody else because, like I said, I didn't want to do a review. I honestly didn't even really want to talk about the chapter this week because it's the new chapter. And to me, it feels kind of like reviewing it. But, during this conversation, they pointed out, thinking they were big braining me, talking about, oh, Kaido was invited to, like, technically true. He wasn't invited by Zebek. Zebek didn't go up to Kaido like, hey, little dude, join my crew. He sent Edward Newgate, aka Whitebeard. And while it's possible, I 100% concede it is possible that Rocksteady Zebek sent Whitebeard there to find Kaido with the intent of extending an invitation. That has not been put on panel. That little bit is headcanon to anybody who buys into it or believes it. For all we know, and this pitch kind of fits more in with the Zebek we're learning about. It's entirely possible that Zebek sent Whitebeard to Kaido with the mission, directive, whatever you want to call it, of get him to join the crew or kill him. Like, it might not even have been an option with Kaido. Rox might have looked at him like, that kid's going to be a problem. He's either going to join us or he's going to be no more. These are both headcanon, though, Whitebeard being sent to kill or Whitebeard being sent to recruit. These are both options that are on the table. But with what has been put on panel, meaning confirmed canon, Harold is the only person who Rocksteady Zebek invited to the crew and gave that choice to. All the rest of them were won through a Davy back fight, proving I'm stronger than the people you're rolling with, so you're coming with me now. Like, that's honestly kind of cool because it gives some context to why Whitebeard had decided to roll with Zebek for a while. Turns out it probably wasn't a decision. Whoever he was rolling with at the time lost the Davy back, and Zebek said, I want that guy. So the other captain's all, shit. All right, Newgate, you got to roll with homie. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Maybe I'll come back for a rematch and try to win you back, homie, but sorry about your luck, Chuck. So that was really cool. The reveals of the other ones, I'm not going to go too much into. Like I said, I don't want to do a review of the chapter. I just wanted to talk about the fact that Harold was invited by Zebek. Harold wasn't forced into it. Harold wasn't arm twisted into it. It was an option that Zebek gave this man, which even if I'm wrong, even if Zebek did send Whitebeard to Kaido with the directive of convince this kid to join the crew, even that angle still kind of plays into the uniqueness of Harold and Loki by extension, because all the parallels we're getting right now between Loki and Kaido are really laying it on thick, buttering the bread extra juicy. Like, we got the bread soaked in butter, we got it toasted, drenched, and we still got an inch of butter on top of it, right? Like, Oda's laying it on thick, the parallels between these two. Down to the fact that Loki wasn't even able to hurt himself. Like, this kid's constitution is so tough that he couldn't even do harm to himself, which offered a power scaling moment for Rocks, where he's all, bam, slap a dude. I just hurt you, call your dad. Which, in itself is like, okay, my head canon, it's very easy that Harold could have ended Loki right there if he really wanted to. I mean, after all, he was going toe-to-toe with King Harold 8 years ago on a Conqueror's hockey level, confirmed by the fact that their blades weren't touching when they clashed on Marie-Joie. Sorry, another spoiler there. But this almost feels like Oda's building to something, potentially Kaido Harold's son. Now, I did post that little theory on my Tumblr if you want to check that out. Barlo-B-Theorizing over on Tumblr. The long and the short of it is, during the time leading up to Kaido's conception and birth, Harold was in the full swing of this political thing he was doing, right? So, maybe not Harold, but we do know that giants were sent out to other islands, and Elbaf received people from other islands in this exchange program that he was doing. So I'm not sure if Oda's trying to lay it on to the point where it's like, okay, eventually we're going to get a confirmation that Kaido is Harold's kid, or if it's just confirmation that Kaido has that ancient blood lineage, or ancient giant blood lineage that Harold and Loki have. Either one could be possible. But the fact that Harold and Kaido, I'm going to go ahead, I don't believe Zebek sent Newgate to recruit Kaido at all by any means. I personally believe it was go recruit that kid. If he says no, end him. But, even if it was the same thing where Zebek sent Newgate out with the same choice that he gave Harold, that only further ties the parallels between Kaido and Harold's family. But, I'd love to hear how you guys think, because I do admit I'm using a little bit of headcanon here, because we haven't seen the conversation between Zebek and Whitebeard. We don't know what Zebek told Whitebeard when he was sent to recruit Kaido. Honestly, by the end of 1155, we don't even have confirmation that Kaido is a part of Zebek's crew at that point. Now, obviously, we know eventually he's going to be, but by the end of the chapter, there is no confirmation that Kaido is on that ship and part of the crew. The numbers line up. He should be. If not, then one of the first things that the Rocks Pirates are going to do, leaving Hachinosu, is run into Kaido and manage to get him to join the crew, if he's not already part of it. But as far as what's been on panel, Kaido isn't part of Zebek's crew yet, and Harold is the only person that Zebek gave an option to, which I think means something. But I'd love to know what you guys think as well, because, Barlow's not always right. Barlow be capping, Barlow be tripping sometimes. I get caught up in my theories, and, I just start going to town, having fun. Sometimes they turn into ramblings that are more akin to fan fiction, with the, what do they call it? Thesis being my theory. But yeah, feel free, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this one. If you'd like, I'll make sure I drop another link for the Discord community in the bio. And, as I mentioned, don't forget to check me out at Barlo-B-Theorizing on X and Tumblr. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it, what you guys have to think about it. How full of crap do you think Barlow is? Let me know. Good day, friends.